Hi guys, hope you're doing well. So today I'm going to do a quick lighting pass. Right now there's no light in the scene, so when I switch to render mode I don't see anything. If I switch back to this one, you can see the textures without any lighting. And this one here is the solid mode, mainly for modeling. When I go to rendered mode, this is where we can see all the lighting and shading effects. You can also switch quickly between the last two shading modes by holding Z and moving your mouse. Before adding any lights, I'm going to clean up the interior walls. I don't think we're going to need the solidify modifier anymore, so I'll just remove it. Now I'll isolate the walls with Shift plus H. Go to edit mode and select edges using Alt plus click. I'll extrude them with E, then fill them with F. Since we still have a mirror modifier applied, it automatically mirrors everything. Now I'll separate the face by pressing P and choosing selection. When I go back to object mode, now we have a separate windows faces. Now I'll assign an emissive material to the ceiling. Sorry, I meant to the windows. I'll select it, go to the material tab, create a new material and rename it emissive. I'll change the shader from principled BSDF to emission, increase the intensity, and in the shadow mode, I'll set it to none to avoid unwanted shadows. Now for the lighting, I'll add a sun by pressing Shift plus A, going to light and choosing sun. I'll move it around a bit, rotate it to get a better lighting direction, and adjust the strength if necessary. I'll also go to the world settings and set the background strength to 0 so that only the lights in the scene are affecting the render. Next, I'll adjust some render settings. I will go to the render properties, activate ambient occlusion and set it to 0.8. Then I'll tick bloom, crank up the threshold and select a bluish color. Next, I'll activate screen space reflections for better reflections. Finally, I'll crank up the shadows if your PC can handle it. Create a new material, rename it M Interior, and change its color to a medium gray. Now I'll assign materials to all the objects in the scene. Select all the meshes and make sure the interior mesh is selected last as it has the M interior material applied. This way, all other objects will receive the M interior material. Hit Ctrl L and select Link Materials. This will apply the same material to everything. To pick the lighting, press Shift plus A and add an irradiance volume. I'll scale it up so it covers the entire scene, move it into place. and then go back to the render properties and bake indirect lighting. Baked lighting is a technique that pre-computes lighting and stores it as textures, improving performance in games and real-time rendering. Since Eevee doesn't support ray tracing, it relies on baked lighting using irradiance volumes to simulate indirect light. This ensures realistic lighting effects while keeping performance optimized. Now the material should reflect more accurately. Now I'll add some extra lights. I'll take one of the lamps, press Shift plus S, and set the cursor to selected. Then I'll add an area light, move it into position, increase the intensity, and maybe scale it a little bit to get softer lighting. I'll also add a slight blue tint to the sunlight to make the lighting look more natural. Now I'll bake the indirect lighting again. For local lighting, I'll add a couple of point lights near the lamps. I'll set the 3D cursor where I want them, press Shift plus A, and add a point light. I'll tweak the intensity and color and then duplicate it using Alt plus D so they stay linked. If the scene feels too bright or too dark, I can always go back to the sunlight settings and adjust the strength or modify the emissive intensity. I can also tweak the exposure settings in the render properties to get a better balance. That's the first pass on the lighting. In the next video, I'll refine the lighting even more and add some extra depth to the scene. If you found this helpful, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. See you in the next one.